And welcome to Sports Talk on another beautiful Friday evening. And I'm Dr. Jerry Green, and every Tuesday and Friday, we get together with the guys and we talk sports and have a good time. And we are live on the KMI WJRG television network with Big Don with Big Don Production. What's up, Don?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good.
All right, our sports legend, brother Anthony McLean. What's up, Anthony? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Glad to be here.
All right, one of the greatest bishops in the whole wide world, Bishop Ernest E. Richard Jr. What's up, my brother, all the way in Upper Marlbury? What's up, Bishop? How you doing?
Marlboro, living the life I love, loving the life I live. Please, Vikings, let's win a Super Bowl before I die.
And every moment move. Kendall is driving, but he's still with us tonight. Yep. Kendall, how you doing, bro?
Every moment moves. Looking forward to tonight. Oh my God, Wembanyama is out for the year.
I know we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that one. But since you brought it up, talk about it, Kendall. Wembanyama.
You know, it's a blood clot in the arm, and you really want to just be more focused on him being well than anything else. His health means everything. He has definitely been the anomaly. He definitely was the leading player for Defensive Player of the Year. And we all remember that Michael Jordan missed his whole second season with a broken leg. So, you know, it's more important that he heals. You know, we're a gospel talent, a gospel sports show. So we're going to pray for him and thank God that, you know, he will be well and he will, you know, pursue what he needs to pursue. And he and Darren Fox will be a dynamic twosome in the NBA in the near future. So get well, young blood.
But is that something the Spurs should be concerned about, though? Well,
they caught it early, and the way medical technology is now, I mean, to find it and shut them down, they did what's best for him. A lot of times, you know, you want to play through it. We'll catch it in the off season. They're not playing for a playoff position or anything like that. So best thing to do is shut him down, get him well. He comes back, all is well.
What about you, Anthony? Give me your thoughts on Victor.
You know, again, I do the sentiments as well with Kendall, but it could be a blessing in disguise for the franchise because, you know, as we've been talking all year, we've been saying that this is a team that's a work in progress. You hate to lose arguably the league's most identifiable, the best player, but this may be a blessing in disguise for the franchise in the sense of you're going to see what else you have now. Because I think for a lot of us, we feel like that they're a year away from really making some headway in the Western Conference. This may cost them the playoffs this year, but you want to do this rather safe than sorry. You know, we're always reminded of, and I don't want to get it too morbid, but we're always reminded of what happened with Reggie Lewis years ago in Boston with the heart thing, and with the blood clot. You know, you don't want to mess with that. You want to, you know, he's young enough where that by the time, say, training camp opens up later on this year for the 25-26 season, he'll be all healed. The team will have added maybe some other weapons or what have you. But yeah, Godspeed to him. And again, hopefully for the franchise and for the league as a whole, this is a blessing in disguise.
What about you, Bishop? Your thoughts on Victor Wembanyama?
Well, and I mean, when you're talking a blood clot, you got to understand that blood clot does travel, and with the type of profession that they're in, fast paced and constantly on the move, he endangers himself if they don't shut him down. So I applaud the franchise for making a wise decision. And on top of that, I think they got enough firepower to be able to sustain them. And I'm going to say paint thinners. Anthony, I ain't got good sense. Blood thinners and things of that nature over a period of time can actually straighten this problem out. So it's not major. It becomes major if it enters the arteries or if it enters the ventricles, and that's where heart attack, coronaries, and things of that take place. So, I look for it, like Kendall and like Anthony said, our prayers are with Wimbiana. We pray that this thing takes care of itself and puts him in a good position where he can at least be there for the playoffs. Look, from what it sounds like, he could be there for the playoffs. He might miss the next 20 games. Then again, he may miss the next 10 games. We don't know. Truth of the matter is, first things first. His health is above everything. I don't care how much you make the franchise.
That's right. Go ahead, Big Don.
Well, like Bishop, I know how important it is with the traveling. But I'm going to say this. Isn't that what Chris Bosh had also?
Yes.
So right now we're looking at it like a curable thing, but we don't know how far or how bad this could really turn out to be. But remember, it ruined Chris Bosh's whole career. And,
because he rushed back.
Yeah.
What you say, Kevin?
He came back. Chris Bosh, they didn't have the mentality as soon as we did shut him down, but we kept on bringing him back before he was fully healed. Everybody was focused on the fact that this big three was going to make another run for the playoffs. That's all they really focused on at that time.
I don't remember them really bringing him back. I thought they forced him out. They didn't want him to come back.
They got him out, but what happened during the season, they brought him back, and then they lost that last. They lost that last series to San Antonio, and then he was gone. And then LeBron left, and they broke up.
No, Ken, I think you got that wrong, bro.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't remember that, Kendall, at all.
Because
he wanted to play, and they wouldn't let him. That's the way I remember.
Yeah, he got that after LeBron went back to Cleveland because they signed Chris Bosh to a big contract because Pat Riley was mad at LeBron for leaving. So he signed Chris Bosh to a big contract. Right, to try to lead the franchise, then that's when Chris Bosh had that problem with his heart after LeBron left.
Okay.
Yeah, they wouldn't let him come back.
They let him come back because he wanted to come back to play.
I don't think they really knew about it, Jerry, and that was just the timing and everything because these things just don't show up all of a sudden. They take time to develop, like any one of us. Even a common cold takes a couple of days before it actually manifests to the point and place where we can call it a cold, the flu, or whatever the thing is. And Jerry, I do appreciate you, my brother, but the people who are taking care of the house are in here. So if I mute and I can't answer you, I'm just going to let you know. They got to do their job.
Oh, okay, I got you. But yeah, I see you in the background talking to somebody or whatever you're doing. That's good. Okay, let me move on then. Should the 76ers shut down Joe Embiid for the remainder of the season and let him have his surgery now and get it ready for next year? What do you think?
Well, they should shut him down. I mean, to me, they're not going anywhere anyway, so it's definitely not going to kill them to shut him down for the remainder of the season. That's not going to hurt the Sixers because they're not going nowhere. And how much if they don't shut him down, how much are they going to get out of him? A game here, a game there. So, and they should shut him down, try to get it healthy enough to trade him, actually. Get rid of him next year if you can.
Get rid of him.
Yeah, you ain't never going to have no Embiid that you want. It's his career, you ain't never going to have that Embiid that's going to take you nowhere or do anything. Shut him down, close him down, try to get him healthy so you can trade him next year, get rid of him. All that money is already lost. You can keep trying for hopes and keep holding on and just keep losing money. All you got to do.
Well, what about you, Anthony? Should they sit him down for the rest of the year and go forward and let him have his surgery?
Yeah, I mean, the sooner the better. I mean, again, like Don said, they're not a playoff team, and the thing is now you want to, if you're going to trade him, you want him to be as most optimal as you can, and let's be honest, because of his career, because of all of the injuries, you're not going to get a whole lot for him anyway, even if he comes back, quote unquote, healthy going into next season. But it's the season is already a wash. There's no need. I mean, maybe they make a little bit of a run without him, but there's no need to force this.
Yeah, because now he's a former MVP. He won it like what 2 years ago or a year and no, the year
Yeah,
before
yeah, but
last?
but but even and even that year when he was able to play as many games, I think it was the most games he's ever played. But let's face it, from day one, there's always been an injury issue. I think he's missed like about I want to say he's missed almost 400 or 500 man games
Wow.
over his career, and it just becomes a thing. We all know what he can do when he's healthy, and the MVP season showed that. But at this point, right now, a lot's going to depend on the direction of the Sixers. Now they're not doing the process anymore, so they have to really evaluate what they can. And my guess is that they're going to try to build this club around Maxi, and I'm sure they're going to put some feelers out there for Embiid. I'd be surprised if they didn't.
Okay, go ahead, Bishop. Did I go with Kendall on the Joe MB? Shut him down or what?
Yeah, shut him down. And I'm going to say it very quickly. Until he gets 100%, because I don't. Has he had one season where he was 100%? I don't think so.
Yep, the MVP year, about as close as he came to it.
And that was the only year. Now he's in a position now where he's getting older, which means it takes a little bit more time for him to be able to recover. And if they're going to build the team around Maxey, now they've got to replace Embiid. They need somebody that would be the equivalent of Embiid. And, coming out, even looking, we're getting ready to get into March Madness. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to be looking for that center, that 5 spot that can possibly be drafted by Philadelphia to kind of come in and shadow Embiid. And when Embiid goes down, he'd be able to sit in. I'll give you a good example, and then I'm going to get right back to my point. UConn, back-to-back champions. They had Sanogo the first year, but they had Klingon as a backup. Now Klingon comes in and does his thing, and now Sampson is doing his thing. The truth of the matter is Philadelphia's got to re-up in that spot because Embiid is showing that he has cracks in the foundation. So truthfully speaking, you can keep rolling like you are, but you're going to keep what they call it, chewing gum and baling wire a whole situation. That's not going to work.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
Every moment move, Kendall. Listen, we're talking about Joe MB. Should they shut him down?
Yeah, I hear you.
No, but and also Bishop brought up a good point. Can they build around Maxey, man? Is he that good? I mean, I know he's good.
I think Maxey's that good.
He's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's not good. He's like a Trey Young and maybe like I don't even know if he's good as Jimmy Butler. But can you build a franchise? Talk about Philly. They're a major franchise that like the Celtics and the rest of them as well. Can they build around Maxey, or they need another?
Well, they're gonna have to start with him as the best player, and then maybe if they bring somebody in.
That's why they brought him Paul George. They brought him Paul George for that reason.
Yeah, well, Paul George is not showing that he is that same Paul George. I mean, it's like he's kind of old. It seems like it, according to the way he's playing in Philadelphia. But they should not even have let Joel Embiid play in the Olympics. He's just been hindered, and I'm wondering if anyone could look that up. If they look that up, did he? The requirement to win the MVP was to participate in at least 65 games, and I think that year he had 67 games. And I believe that year, if we look at the statistics, Joker should have gotten it, but I think they were just stopping Joker from getting it 3 in a row, so he wouldn't be mentioned in the same vein as Larry Bird, who's got 3 in a row, and obviously Chamberlain, those guys. But Embiid has just been injury prone, plays outside, doesn't play the center. When he plays, he could be the most dominant force out there, but it's when he plays, and he's fragile. So I would just, call it a day with him because you don't know if he's going to show up, and he has not shown up. Even his first 3 years out of Kentucky, he wasn't there, Then he shows up, he does well, and he stays hurt.
All right, but
let me say this real quick, Jerry. Maxey. They could not. Can you see Maxey carrying the team to a championship? There's no building around Maxey. Maxey got the best player that they got, so they have to run with that. But they're gonna have to actually get them a real, true superstar.
That's what I'm saying.
Doing it well. They're gonna have to build a team, but it won't be around Maxey.
Okay, now Jerry, to answer Kendall's question, 65 games in the collective bargaining agreement, 23-24 season. the player had to play a minimum of 65 games, had to at least appear in at least 65 games. They didn't have to play the whole game. They had to just appear in 65 games to be included in that particular award session. Now, there's a difference between appearing and actually playing. So you can see how thin the line has become over the years. Just like Anthony. He's a legendary sportscaster. Watch this kid, though. He's a legendary sportscaster, but he has to appear on WJRG. No, let me stop. I'm messing.
You're talking right. All right, this is Sports Talk on the WJRG KMI Television Network. I'm Dr. Jerry Green, along with Big Don from Big Don Production. Every Moment Move, Kendall Tyson. We have our sports legend, our reporter, Anthony McLean, and one of the greatest bishops in the world, my good friend, Bishop Ernest Richard Jr. I'm going to move on. I want you guys to talk a little bit about college basketball. I'll start with you, Anthony. Give me a little rundown of what's going down in college, because I know March Madness is right around the corner. Well, what are we missing out on, me and Big Don, that don't follow college too much?
Well, Auburn right now is #1 team. They pulled out a win the other night. They had a close win. They've been #1 most of the year. Kansas got whooped something fierce the other night by BYU, and Kansas has been sort of up and down. There's really no, I mean, even though Auburn's #1, there really is no, clear dominant team right now. We've seen UConn be the best team the last 2 years, and we're clearly, the best team. It's really a crapshoot this year. There's really to me nobody that's really out there that you can say to yourself is a quote unquote super team. Even with like the realignment for the conference, I still have a hard time seeing UCLA being a Big Ten team. It's just nuts to me that it's like that. But speaking of the Big Ten, they may get maybe like 6 or 7 teams in there on a roll this year. So even though Auburn's the #1 team, you could make the argument that the Big Ten is possibly the best overall conference.
All right, Kendall, what you think, man? And another question: can UConn go get a three-peat this year in college?
I'm not sure, but you know what? If there's any year that they could probably try to do it, it would be this year. As Anthony just said, there's no dominant team. As a matter of fact, what I found very interesting is that Alabama and Auburn were the 1 and 2 teams in a sport that was not football. I found that very interesting. And the player of the year is just up to a 2-man race. This kid named Broome, I think he's out of Auburn, and then you have Cooper Flagg. If there is an opportunity for them to try to get that three-peat, they can get hot, because there's really not a dominant player, not a dominant team this year at all. Everybody is just giving the business to everybody else,
All right. What do you think, Bishop? Give me your thoughts on the college basketball playing.
All right. Now, I can throw the odds at you, and the top 10 teams they've got marked to actually have an outside or any kind of a chance to win the NCAA tournament. I'm going to start from the top and work your way down. They are not necessarily ranked in this position, but this is what the odds makers think. As you said, Anthony, Auburn is at the top of the list. Keep in mind, this is the same team UConn beat double digits. I believe it was just last year. Okay. And they didn't come back. They, like UConn, they've lost players. So who knows what that is? Duke, because of Cooper Flagg, and I think he's overrated, but Coop, you should have came to UConn, dude. You ain't seeing no title this year. I'm gonna tell you up front. Anyway, Houston, and then there's Florida, there's Alabama, Tennessee, Iowa State, Kentucky, Wisconsin, and then it's a flip-flop between UConn, Kansas, and Arizona, with Texas Tech on the outside looking in. Now, of all those teams, I would say the top 4 teams that have the best chance: Auburn, Alabama, believe it or not, Kansas, and I'm going to say Texas Tech. I want UConn in there, but if they keep playing the way they're playing, just grab some Kool-Aid and some popcorn, sit on the sidelines and root for somebody. That's all I can say. The teams I just mentioned, it's only because of these criteria here, and I do follow college basketball. These guys have solid defense, They've got solid enough offense. They shoot a good 3-point shot. They can defend the 3-point shot. And then their skill sets in the half court, which is the difference maker, because in the NCAA tournament, it ain't a run and gun game. It is a half court game. And if you can't play a half court skill set, you can kiss it goodbye. This was made UConn so dominant over the last 2 years, because Dan Hurley he would either play he didn't play your basic give me the phrase, you know what I'm talking about, 3-5, 3-2. He played a 1-4, he played a 3-2, and then he would play a 1-4 with a spy, which simply means that when they were going to trap, which is how they got a lot of their turnovers, the spy would come. Usually it's the 3 spot that would come and trap if it's on his side. Bottom line is simply this. It depends on what these guys do. I mean, this is the time of year for them. If they're going to make mistakes, make mistakes. If you're going to mess up, mess up. UConn is messing up right now. They play St. John's, I believe, tomorrow. And this is going to tell me whether UConn has any shot at a three-peat, because of the simple fact, if you can't beat St. John's, and a lot of teams they're going to face play St. John's style of basketball. I also noticed that the referees are letting them play a little more. I mean, why don't we just put on football helmets and shoulder pads? You know what I'm saying? There's not much left, But that's the outlook. I mean, other teams, if I want to say this, and I'm gonna land my plane on this, they can put St. John's in the mix, but they're weak. Gonzaga has fallen off the map. Marquette and Creighton are in the mix, but Purdue is an outside shot as well. And then there is the sleeper called Clemson. So you got to keep your eyes on these guys.
Okay.
And Jerry, what's good is that I think it's going to be a good tournament, again, because there isn't the team to beat. Now, I think UConn will get in. They probably, are they going to get a number 1 seed? No, more than not more than likely. They're probably looking at, depending on how the rest of this season plays out for them, they're probably looking at maybe a 6, maybe a 7 seed, or somewhere in Illinois. But what is interesting is that, again, they have the pedigree. And you could make the argument that Hurley is one of the 5 best coaches still in college basketball, and he could weave something. Down here, they're already talking about how it's already been a disappointing season, but a lot can change when you make a little bit of a run in the tournament.
All right, go Big Don.
Well,
Big Don got some stuff he's gonna throw out there.
What I'm trying to say is, I love March Madness, and that's when I really get into college ball, because I watch all of March Madness. By the end of it, I can pick out some of the stars that's going to the NBA. I know all about it. So I haven't watched it up until now, but trust me, March, I'll watch all of it.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. See, and Anthony, to your point, remember the 2014 season. UConn was dead in the water. They weren't making the NCAA tournament. They were actually poised to go to the NIT tournament. But they had that phenomenal run in the Big East tournament under Kemba Walker, and y'all know the cardiac kid, step back Kemba. I'll never forget that shot against Pittsburgh, and my man who was trying to guard him. First of all, you ain't that good. Kemba broke his ankles twice and left him on the floor like dried blood. I'm sorry. For those of you who are gory, I'm sorry, folks. Just stay with me for a minute. But then they turned around and went on this improbable run to win the end. And they were not supposed to win that year. So like we say in football, any given Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, anything can happen. I'm waiting for this UConn team to play their potential. But I'm not going to be dressed on them, because, you got to keep your eye on Auburn. That team is fast. They're athletic. They're strong. Great rebounders. I mean, Auburn has all the makings of a champion. The question is, can they get over the hump? And then, as you said, Anthony, and I know you watch it, Don, if UConn ends up anything lower than a 7 seed, they're in trouble. Because 8, 9, 10, 11 they're upset seeds. But if you're a 4, 5, or 6 and you got to play 10, 11, or 12, you got issues, because 10, 11, and 12, and even, they're your equal. They are your equal. They play like you do. They're on it's a level playing field. So if ends up being a 5, 6, or 7 and got to play one of them teams, hold your breath because we're in for a long night.
All right. Listen. Let me move on a little bit. Kendall, with you again. Now, Lawrence Taylor, he's the legendary Hall of Famer, played for
My
the
favorite player of all time.
Yeah, he may mention that mainly Micah Parsons to play more football and less podcasts, right? Because I guess these guys got these podcasts. Did y'all hear that? Did anybody hear that besides me?
I didn't hear.
Huh?
I didn't hear.
Okay, Kendall, Lawrence Taylor made that suggestion to Micah Parsons and other guys that got podcasts. Play more football and less podcasts. Well, what do you think about that statement he made?
Well, it's funny because I'm going to send it to you guys. Lawrence Taylor was really on a podcast about a week ago, and he was talking about if I had worked out more and not gone out to drink and took football seriously, I might have had a better career. And he talked about on how, I'm going to find it too.
Okay.
I think it was him and Ray Lewis on how
I
he
know.
was out there, not doing what he was supposed to do, and how they have all of the advantages. I wonder if it came from a point of, listen, man, you're really talented, and I made a whole bunch of mistakes. Would you? I hope that you do less podcasts and focus more on your career, because when he wants to play, we know this. We've seen that guy, Micah Parsons. He could be the single best player on the field at any time. That guy can line up anywhere on the field.
I agree.
So what if Lawrence Taylor was like looking in the mirror and saying, "Youngblood, man, don't do what I did," because Lawrence Taylor, I'm gonna find it. Lawrence Taylor was always talking about how he was drinking his Jack every night. He didn't work out. He didn't get any sleep. He was all messed up. He wished he hadn't done that. What would his career have been? So what if he was coming from that standpoint? I'm wondering if it's there. I'm not sure.
I think check YouTube, Kendall. I believe it's on YouTube because I recall that interview. It was Lawrence Taylor, Ray Lewis, Ronnie Lott, and somebody else.
Ray Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was those guys.
Yep.
All right, Don, Big Don, you said you didn't hear the statement. What do you think about what he's saying anyway? Lawrence Taylor to all the young guys.
The reason it make a lot of sense to me is because when I was watching Damon Green podcast, and I felt he should be out there trying to play basketball a little more than doing this podcast. So it makes sense to me.
Yes, I agree.
Certain things you should be concentrating on certain things and not the podcast.
Amen.
So it just makes sense. I didn't hear it, but yeah, it makes sense to me. He probably should be, spending too much time on that podcast, and he got a chance to be a great player.
Okay.
I agree.
What about you, Anthony? Because I'm going to make a comment on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, look, Lawrence Taylor was a freak of nature. I mean, the scary thing is, as best as we saw him, he could have been even greater. And that's the scary part. But unfortunately, I don't want to do a broad brush with all the modern guys, but between the outside interests and everything now, it seems as though football almost becomes the sport for some of these guys almost becomes a hobby. Now, the other things that's happening here with Parsons, his contract's up. So he's got to figure, we're going to find out if the Cowboys are going to give him, are they going to pay him? Because, they just paid CJ Lamb. They just gave Dak his money. So the biggest thing for him, I would think, literally and figuratively, is to lay low and let what you do on the field speak for everything, and not speak yourself.
Right. Well, what about you, Bishop? Give me your opinion on Lawrence Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor, a phenomenal linebacker. I mean, you could put him up there with the greats, and I mean, I'm talking the Ray Lewises, the Dick Buckuses. He's probably second, third, at best, fourth, somewhere in that region for the best. And like he said, I mean, we all know what he used to do. And we used to see him. They used to, cameras used to follow him around. Lawrence Taylor, as good as he was, could have been even better. Probably could have been the greatest linebacker we have ever laid eyes on. And I'll never forget this, and all you guys remember this. How do you sit there on your television? The Giants are playing the Redskins at that time, the Commanders now. And Joe Theismann goes back to make a pass, gets tackled by Taylor, and you literally hear his bones snap. Oh Man, that caused me to cringe. Even now, I can't. I've seen the YouTube thing. I can't watch that thing just to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Just to hear. But I mean, he was that great. I mean, if you go back and look at that tape, not only did he push his way through the middle of the line, he literally just it's like as he was playing with little boys, just swiped them out the way. Boom. And when he hit him, and I guess the way Theismann was standing was what caused the leg to break. Because I mean, that was a lot of pressure. Lawrence Taylor weighed what, 285 at the time?
Yeah.
And that was all muscle. I don't know if I want all that muscle falling down on me. Thank God I never tried to play football one time. My first time was my last time. Pop Warner, they told me to do an 80 over the middle. I got popped. I said I quit.
All right, listen. Let me move on a little bit. Now, Giannis.
Yes.
If the Bucks don't win a championship this year, Don, if Giannis would do you think he should try to demand a trade or what? To go somewhere we can kind of win a championship?
Well, it's not like he never won a championship. The Bucks have been trying to find him some players. It's not like they're not trying to help Giannis. I don't know. I might talk to the front office more about demanding some better players, but I don't think he need to go to New York. Is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah.
I don't think he need to go to New York.
No. Send him to New York.
That curse they got down in New York? No, I don't think
Hey, send him to New York. We can all chip in for Skybox.
Well, what you think, Anthony?
I'd be surprised if he would try to leave Milwaukee on his own. He's the face of their franchise, and you're gonna are you gonna be able to get as much of a good haul in him? Now the Knick fan in me would love to see him. I ain't gonna lie, I don't. I mean, cap wise and everything else, I just don't see it. I mean, they would probably have to basically give up part of their bench and some picks. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Is he worth it? Absolutely. But is it worth gutting the franchise to bring him in? I don't know.
Well, what about you, Bishop? Remember, the Knicks have won since '73 now.
You're right.
Go ahead, Bishop.
And they've only been to the championship twice since '73. But the bottom line is this: Giannis would be the absolute perfect fit for New York to have that player that's going to get them over the top. But like Anthony said, gutting the franchise, giving up maybe as many as 3 bench players, a couple of first rounders, and a couple of second rounders. Giannis would also have to take a pay cut and put the rest of his money on the back end, because I think he's got a balloon payment coming when his contract ends. They would have to back in that money, and that would be off of Milwaukee and on New York if they were to try to bring him over. So, we'd have another situation. Y'all remember back when they signed Charlie Ward for $54 million? They basically, to this day, whoever the GM was back then, Ernie
Grunfeld.
Yeah. If you're watching, I know I'm a saint, and I love the Lord. I want to fight you for that still. Anyway, but truthfully speaking, no. It would be too much. You gut the franchise, and it would take at least a 5-6 year period before we could get back and refurbish the way we need to. So, do we want a championship right now, at the risk of not having anything from the following year and the next 4 years? I don't think I really want to do that. I like what we got now. We're one player short.
Let me say the Bishop Bronson will definitely be gone, which means you'll have another big man without a guard, and that's how you guys been losing all the time anyway.
Well, no,
I've seen that movie before, and Leonardo DiCaprio dies in Game 7 every time. So yeah, I wouldn't want to go through all of that again.
Yeah,
Can I get you on that one?
Well, I think. I mean, Brunson just left over $100 million on the table. Could you imagine Brunson, if you could somehow keep Brunson and have 2 interchangeable 7-footers like that? I mean, you literally have 2 7-footers who can bring the ball up the court. You got a 7-footer that won a 3-point contest in the All-Star weekend, who is probably, arguably, one of the most talented players in the league. If he ended up in New York, oh my God, that's all I'm going to say. I think they would gel. Because of the way they play. I think so. They're slashers. They bring the ball down court. They run the fast break. They're not spot-up shooters. I think I think it would work, to be perfectly
I'm
honest.
trying to tell you,
Listen, Kendall is really dreaming because ain't no way you're gonna get a Giannis and keep the team together like that. It's just not gonna happen.
No,
Giannis is too big of a franchise for that.
well, listen.
Brunson just left $100 million on the
It
table.
don't matter. He's gonna be in the trade. It ain't gonna be what he left on the table. They're gonna trade him.
But you know what? We got to stop and think. What's coming back if they trade Brunson? And I told you,
Giannis is coming back.
Giannis is coming back, but something other than just Giannis.
You need a guard.
Now, see, here's the thing. They may get back a quality guard or a guard that's good enough to handle the ball and be able to feed these guys. And I'm trying to tell you guys.
You guys are dreaming.
Hey, tell Pastor Walt, if this happens, we got to purchase a skybox. Okay.
Giannis gonna wipe you guys out. You said it right the first time. He gonna wipe you guys
it would,
out.
to me, the gamble's too much because look, Milwaukee, some of us can be a little delusional as Knicks fans in the sense of thinking we can get something for nothing. But Milwaukee's gonna want, they're gonna want first round picks aside. I mean, you're probably let's put it this way. I would think that the trade would probably be maybe a first rounder and a second rounder, probably Josh Hart, as a bunch of other guys. And look, Milwaukee's gonna want quality because you're getting one of the 5 best players in the league. It's not worth gutting the franchise right now. The roster that they have right now is closer to a possible championship run than if they were to gut this roster just for Giannis. It's to me it would be what's the phrase? Penny foolish and I just don't see it. I really don't see it.
I got one that all of you can identify with because we all old enough. Old Sly Stone song. Wishful thinking. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, I'm old enough. I'm old enough to remember Lonnie Shelton for Marvin Webster. Yeah. And seeing Clyde end his career with the Cavs. So no,
Cavaliers,
I don't. No.
That was sad.
All right, let me give out the phone number if anybody is watching us on Facebook or YouTube. My number is 203-671-5332. If anyone wants to call with any comments tonight on Sports Talk, I'm Dr. Jerry Green, along with Big Don from Big Don Production, our sports legend reporter Anthony McLean, Bishop Ernest Richard Jr., and Every Moment Move with Kendall Tyson. I got to move on. I know the hour go by fast. You guys having a great time. LeBron James, 40 years old, scored 40 points last night without Luka. And even though they beat Portland on the road, Anthony, let me start with you. How good is LeBron James looking? And should he be in the MVP conversation this year?
Yeah, I think he definitely is going to get some first place votes, I would think. And look, I mean, there's no question about the greatness of LeBron. That's never been, I don't think, to me, there's never been a question. What he's doing this year is, let's face it, he's tempting, the fountain of youth and all that other stuff. Is it still going to be enough for them to make a title run? I don't know. I don't really see it in the long run. But it won't be because of let's put it this way: it won't be because of lack of an effort from him.
All right.
Okay. All right, Big Don, what you think, man? LeBron James.
Well, who was that other boy that had 30 points? LeBron had 40.
Was Austin Reeves?
Austin Reeves. Well, you notice how Austin Reeves done picked this game up all of a sudden? They trying to take Luka out the aquarium, him and LeBron James, which just ain't going to work. But LeBron, you just got to give it to him. He the king. You just got to give it to him.
That's it.
But he needs to turn it over to Luka like he was trying to do AD. I still saying again, he's burning himself out. What he need to save this stuff for the playoff.
So pass it to Luka and take a back seat more.
Yeah, well, that's what I think. Give it to Luka and be strong in the playoff. And get Luka involved. Luka ain't been really involved since.
No, he hasn't. Right, but remember, Luka and LeBron both needs the ball. See, Luka for Dallas, every time they got the rebound, they get the ball to Luka. It's like when they get the rebound now, they get the ball to LeBron. So LeBron got to understand, in order to get Luka involved, he needs the ball.
Yeah, well, give him the ball then. I mean, LeBron, you're already there. So get Luka involved. If you guys want to make a run down the stretch, then you got to play the right way.
What about you, Kendall?
Well, I think LeBron James is just, like you say, tapped into the fountain of youth. He also had 11 turnovers that game, you know?
Yeah.
So he's doing his thing. But all we can say is that LeBron James is not cheating the game. He gives us everything every night, you know?
Yeah.
40 years old, 42 points, phenomenal. He's in the conversation as being one of the top 3 players to ever play the game. Michael Jordan, I'm going to say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Chamberlain in the game because the game was revolutionized because of them. Can you imagine changing the game in college so that one player could not dunk? So he created this thing called the sky hook, and LeBron James is the only person to exceed the points of the sky hook. So, I mean, whatever he does, hey, LeBron James is operating on house money right now. Whatever he does is amazing from here on in.
All right. Listen, then let me move on again. Did I get you, Bishop?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, Bishop. I'll start with you then. The Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay, they got the best record, I believe, in the whole NBA right now. Okay, now are they still just a regular season team, or can they make a deep run into the playoffs and possibly win the championship? And how big would that be if they won the championship without LeBron James?
As Mitchell goes, so goes the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I only say that because, and we're playing them tonight, as a matter of fact, at 7:30.
Okay, that's right.
So I am going to be on that game because I really want to see how we stack up against this team. This is a phenomenal team. I'm not a Cavalier fan, but I am impressed with where they've gone and what they've been doing. They've been in the trenches on a couple of occasions, but they found a way to pull themselves out. So to me, this is a legitimate team. Now it's up to the rest of the Eastern, the teams in the East to figure out how to beat this team. Now, the only team I see that can give them the best possible run right now is the Celtics.
Right.
I don't see anybody else that can really knock them off at this point. Knicks have an outside shot, but when I say outside, that's like Buster Douglas hitting Mike Tyson with a feather duster. I don't think you're going to do much damage there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know.
But what about you, John?
I think they have a shot. I really think they have. Honestly, I think they have a shot.
What about you, Don, on the Cleveland Cavaliers?
I think they'll go deep, but I don't think they'll get past Boston. I think they can go deep, but I don't see them in the championship unless some things really change. Boston got too many weapons for them.
That's right.
That's the way I see it. But I never saw this coming when LeBron James left. I thought it might take them. They'd be like the Knicks before they rebuild again. So they really surprised me on this rebuilding. But Donovan Mitchell was the best thing that ever happened to him after LeBron James.
Yeah, we got to remember something too now. Even when Donovan Mitchell played in Utah, I think one year Utah had like the best record in the league or in the West. So
they got to the semi. I think they got to like the West semis, if I remember right.
Yeah. So what do you think, Anthony, as far as the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Cleveland's a very good team, but Boston's still the team to beat in the East. Let's just no disrespect to Cleveland. They're a good team. They got a nice young team, but Boston still, the road to the Eastern Conference still goes through Beantown. Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. Did I miss anybody on that topic? I got you, Kendall. Kendall, you there?
Kendall not here right now.
Oh, he's not here.
Okay, well, you might be on mute. Okay. All right, let's talk about Kevin Durant then. Kevin Durant just scored his 30,000 point last week. He's behind Wilt Chamberlain. Donald, how would you define his career, Kevin Durant's career? Just scored 30,000 points. And then he's been out 1 year because of his Achilles, so he missed an entire season as well. Let's talk about his career.
I think he missed 2 seasons or almost 2 seasons one time because he got hurt. He got hurt with the Nets and he got hurt somewhere else before the Nets, didn't he? Anyway, I never seen a man to get hurt and come back like Kevin Durant. I mean, you got to define his career as one of the greatest all time, but not the greatest. I mean, he got 2 rings, so Kevin Durant is one of the greatest. I mean, what can I say? But he's not going nowhere with the Suns. But yet he's going to be one of the greatest. He's going to go down like the Charles Barkley. not better than Barkley. He got 2 rings.
He got 2
But
rings.
you just got to put him up there as one of the greatest. I mean, he's getting old now. It's time for him to buy out, but he don't want to do that.
None of them do.
What about? Go ahead, Bishop.
Well, no, none of them do, and I don't blame them. I mean, look, you've won MVP, you've done everything, you won a championship, you've done almost everything there is to do. The last thing you want to do is be put on the shelf as if you were a finished product, like there's no more water in the bottle. Kevin Durant, let me show you something. And I guess it doesn't help that LeBron James is still playing after 85 decades. So Kevin Durant wants the longevity of that type of a career. I'm going to be here till I'm 50. Well, go ahead, help yourself. If you in condition and shape, come on, bro. 50 ain't a bad number. At 50, I thought I could still play ball until I went to this league that we used to be in. Anyway, let me stop.
Oh my God. Yes, like I said, but Kevin Durant, he's slowing down to me though, because one time you couldn't give Kevin Durant no wide open shot. Now the guys are kind of blocking the shot a little bit, and those are the signs that you're slowing down a little bit. But he's still playing at a high level. But 30,000 points is a lot of points.
Yeah.
So he had a great career.
You missed Anthony, Jerry.
Did I miss Anthony?
Yeah, on that question.
No, first, I mean, I don't know. I can't add really much more. I mean, I think he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. Even on just his 1 year in college when he did with Texas, but then when you look at his overall NBA career, I guess you could sort of. I've always looked at him as sort of like a George Gervin type in the sense where he's just an incredible scorer. Can beat you in all different ways. And yeah, if the worst thing that's happened to him this year is that he's fallen a little bit behind, hey, Father Time always wins. But he's got a plaque waiting for him in Springfield, no doubt.
Yeah, how many years would you say he got left, Anthony? I know he said he's going to play until the wheels fall off. How many years would you give him? Right, this 1 year, next year, the following year, what you think?
I mean, at the very least, one more. If a lot of it, look, your body will tell you when it's time.
No shame in this game. And if he left after next year, should be no shame.
Oh, absolutely. Even if he retired after this year, I mean, it's what happens a lot. I mean, all of us are a little old enough to remember those last few years of Kareem. Even the last year of Doc, they probably hung out probably a year too long. But again, it doesn't affect your legacy. It's like with Jordan. Are we going to remember Jordan for the 6 titles in 8 years, or are we going to remember him for being the hamstring king in Washington? It's not,
I got a question for all y'all then. Should Kevin Durant, does he deserve a farewell tour around the league?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. He deserves it. If he gets out, if he mess around and stay around too long, like you said, he got about another year. Let him try to stay around 3 more years. Remember, his body is not like a LeBron James body. He don't have, he's still fragile. He's still skinny. He don't have a whole lot of years left. He's not going to. He's close to 40 though. Anyway, 36.
Yeah, 36. So the Anthony point. Let's say next year he play again next year, and he makes the announcement. It don't have to be. He make the announcement. This is gonna be my final year. So you think he deserves a farewell tour?
I would say
just like Kareem got.
Sure.
Kareem
Absolutely.
Okay, just I'm asking. All right.
Oh no,
motorcycle and all, just like Kareem.
Sure.
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry.
Same thing.
Okay. You guys are sports guys.
It's
Let's go back over his. Let's do Steph Curry's career for a minute. We didn't know a thing about Steph Curry until we heard about him from Davidson. Came into the NCAA tournament and literally shot the lights out. He comes into the NBA. Steph Curry, to me, has not missed a beat. He's had a couple of off moments, but that man has not missed a beat on the court and off the court. So yes to Steph.
Don, did you say yes too, right?
Yes. So Steph is the man. I mean, we just got to give Steph his due for a little guy. I mean, he invented the 3-point, as I'm concerned. I know you guys can go all the way back to Havlicek, all them other guys, but Steph Curry is the 3-point man, the half-court man.
That's
Anything
it.
you want to call him, that's why
Three-quarter
shoot
court
long
man.
shots. He the man. Got to
So,
give it to him.
so out of the three guys that's playing right now, talking about the three legends, LeBron, Steph, and Curry, the only three would you say deserve a farewell tour in their retirement?
All three of them.
Yeah, I would say that sounds
All
about
three of
right.
them.
Yeah.
Okay, ask them. Say, all right. Nobody else right now.
No, it's all of them. They left their own specific niches in the game,
That's it.
when you do that, when you're a difference maker, you deserve to be. You deserve to get your you deserve to get your flowers while you're still doing it.
Right. I like you guys. You guys.
I tell you what, I wouldn't get Chris Paul one.
No.
I know you.
Why not?
Hey, old guys, I wouldn't get one.
Hey, Don, the only thing Chris Paul gets from me is farewell.
What about Russell Westbrook? Then what about Russell Westbrook, Don?
I wouldn't give him one either.
No.
No.
I mean, if you're giving out the
Westbrook one.
Dramatic Player of the Year award, yeah, Westbrook wins easy. I mean, you can count. You have to use both hands and some toes, and I'm gonna have to borrow all you guys' fingers and toes. How many times Westbrook has cost his team a game trying to be the game changer?
What about James Harden then? No.
Hey, all these guys you naming now don't have a ring.
Nope.
Find somebody with a ring at least.
Hey, what about Draymond Green then?
Come on, Draymond Green.
No.
You know what? They might give it to him because
now we're gonna
make Steph Curry. They might give it to him.
Hey, Don, we're gonna make up awards now. Draymond Green gets the Bill Laimbeer Award, okay?
Oh, y'all crazy, boy. Oh, man, y'all crazy. Listen, out of these four guys, Allen Iverson, Kyrie Irving, Derrick Rose, and Russell Westbrook, if you're going to, you had the first pick, Anthony, who you pick?
Iverson.
Yes.
Ooh. Okay. What about you, Don?
Man, that's a tough one because I'm a Kyrie lover, but Iverson played much harder. No, I got to go with Iverson.
Well, who had the big shot against the Golden State Warriors?
I'm a Kyrie lover, man. I want to say
That's
Kyrie's
right. That's
bad, but when I think about Iverson's career and how hard he plays, I got to go with that. You know, if I wanted somebody on my team, I want me an Iverson, somebody that's going to hustle, play above the rim, going to do it all. Kyrie's a great dribbler, but he didn't have that
Killer
hustle that Iverson had.
And I think the one thing to me, of the four, clearly he's the best defensive player.
Exactly.
With all due respect.
Oh, okay. I definitely gonna go along with
that, Jerry. Michael Jordan will attest to that. Seriously. Because Iverson stuck with him and stuck it to him. See, I like Iverson because he would go in the land of the giants. He was not afraid. He's a penetrator, but he can be a playmaker if he wanted to be. If Iverson got inside and got a step on you and you 6'9", 6'11", 7'2", Iverson's taking that shot.
Yeah.
And 80% of the time he's making it.
What I'm going to say, not to degrade Iverson and Kobe and guys like Tracy McGrady, Michael Jordan hurt their career, and I'll tell you why. All of them wanted to be like Mike. They wanted to be like Mike. They wanted to lead the league in scoring, and they didn't look out for their teammates. Michael Jordan got away with it with Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman and Horace Grant, but Michael took most of the shots. They wanted to be like that. Kyrie was.
I disagree.
I do
I'll
too.
tell you why.
Didn't they all get to a final? They all got to a final too, though, did they not?
Yeah, they got to the finals.
Iverson had no choice but to put Philly on his back. He was the only
That's right.
they had.
He wanted to be like Mike, though,
He
Donald.
didn't want to be like Mike. He didn't have a choice.
Hey! If you got Aaron McKee and Eric Snow, you have to.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I know I got y'all excited. Go down.
Finish the statement because I agree with what he's saying.
Hold on, bitch. Go down.
Iverson didn't have a choice. He had to put Philly on his back.
He did.
We had Eric Snow. He never had no real players. He had to put Philly. He had to do what he did. Maybe if he had a Scottie Pippen, he probably could have even won the championship. But he never said, I wanted to be like Mike. You can blame Kobe for that one. I never heard him say, I want to be like Mike.
He didn't want no other player with him. He wanted to be the star guy of his team. Even if they wanted to try to ball somebody with Iverson, All I'm saying, I'm not.
Never said I wanted to be like Mike.
I'm not disrespecting Michael Jordan, but Michael, Vince Carter, all them guys in that era. I'm going in that era.
Not
Michael
even Vince
And
Carter.
and
Vince
and
Carter
who did
never said he
and
wanted to be
Jerry
like Mike.
and Jerry
Go
who
ahead.
did
Vince
and
wanted to
Jerry
win.
who did Iverson beat in the 7-game series along the way to the finals?
Vince
All
Carter.
right.
Vince Carter.
Thank you.
And both of them were doing the same thing. Both of them wanted to lead their team. And I'm not knocking either one of them, Don, or Bishop or Anthony. I'm just saying during that era, see, Michael, they were playing team ball. Like a lot of, Michael was the only superstar that really took the game to that level where he was the leading the league in scoring and winning championships. They wanted to be like Mike. That's to be like Mike.
You act like Iverson had a team. He didn't have a team.
He did
had
not.
to be like Mike. That's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you. The boy
Yeah.
didn't have a team. If he didn't do
Two
what
of
he did,
Mhm.
I don't think in his mind he never said I wanted to be like Mike.
And there's
He
one
was
thing
just
that
a great player and did what he had to do.
Iverson did that a lot of these players today won't do. He would play hurt. He would play hurt.
I'm not taking that away from Iverson. I'm just saying.
I mean,
And also, Jerry, the other thing to me, the two greatest runs by an individual to me, when LeBron went to the finals that first time with that Cleveland team, with the Daniel Marshalls and the Larry Hugheses of the world, and then Iverson carrying that. I mean, they would have gotten swept by the Lakers if he doesn't do what he did in Game 1. Tyronn Lewis still ducking in cover after with him stepping over. And at the end of the day, who would you rather have taken that big shot? Matt Barnes. With all due respect, I get what you're saying, but even Michael, when he didn't, there was the Michael before Scotty and Horace, and then there was the Michael afterwards.
Right.
Michael was blessed enough so that he was able to get that. I don't ever think it was a situation where Iverson didn't want any help. I will never believe that. That a lot of that was propaganda put out by, sadly, his own coach, Larry Brown.
Think about it. They were trying to fight a culture that Iverson was introducing. I mean, the cornrows, the tattoos, and they spent more time fighting that culture than they did trying to develop that team. Because that coach got on my nerves, man. I was waiting for him to get fired, and it just didn't happen fast enough for me. So take that away. Iverson, to me, would have been, give him just one player, whether it's a Scottie Pippen, whether it's a Shaquille O'Neal, or take your choice. Give him one more player. He's at least 2 championships strong.
Okay. Now, I want you to understand what I'm trying to say when I said that Michael spoiled them guys. Meaning this here. Even the game that Kobe Bryant scored 81 points. Kobe took 45 shots that night. That's basically what a whole team would take, basically. All right, 45 to 50. Who took all the shots, Bishop? Kobe.
Yeah. Don't put Iverson in that category. That's all we're saying. Kobe said he wanted to be like Mike. Don't put Iverson because he led.
There you go.
Don't say everybody wanted to be like
Mike. They came out the same draft round in '96.
They may have played in that thing. They may have played in that same era, but it was never. Look, Iverson has always clearly said that Mike was his idol, but he never said that he tried to be like Mike.
No.
I don't think I ever. I would put it this way. I would have
base his game on Mike.
Say it.
His game was not like Mike.
Have to hear him say it.
I was wrong with saying that. I was wrong with saying he wanted to be like. I'm talking about that era when they came. But Tracy McGrady, I got Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, Kobe Bryant, guys like Allen Iverson. They all came out of that era right after Mike, and Mike really led the Bulls. They wanted to be that star player that wanted to lead their team. Why didn't Vince Carter and even Tracy McGrady even play together, Don? They was cousins on Toronto. They wanted their own team.
No, Tracy McGrady won his own team. He was the one left. He didn't want to play with Vince.
Why?
That was Tracy McGrady.
But why?
And wanting your own team don't mean you want to be like Mike. These guys just want, they might want to be stars, but it don't. Like I said, only Kobe said he wanted to be like. Tracy game was not like Michael Jordan. Tracy did not have the same game. These guys did not play. Everybody didn't play like Mike. Only Kobe did. Everybody did. Iverson
we
had
know
his own
Kobe was
style.
a
Tracy had his own style. Vince Carter had his own style. They all wasn't playing like Mike. They all wasn't trying. Just because you want to lead your team, don't mean you want to be like Mike. When I played little street ball, I wanted to be the leader, but I didn't want to be like Mike.
Then LeBron came. LeBron brought the Magic Johnson type of game back. But boy, where got his teammates involved.
And the sad thing is, he got berated for that when he came in. In many ways, he's still being berated for that because he actually thought
Michael would have took the shot. Michael would have took the shot. Michael would have took the shot because everybody was used to the way Michael and Kobe played.
But should LeBron's career be punished because he looked for his teammates?
No.
You can't say. All I'm saying is you can't say, "Oh, he's taking all the shots. He's taking all the shots." But then when he wants to defer to his teammates, you want to take away from him there. You can't have it both ways.
I agree. I'll go along with that.
Let's take this into consideration. Give Michael 100 shots. He probably hit 67 or 68 of those 100. And of course, it looks like a good number, but I mean, it's 3.5 seconds left in the game. You're the only one that can get open. Who's taking the shot? Come on, think about it. You're the only one on your whole team that can get open. Everybody else has what they call that sticky paper. Once it sticks to you, man, you almost have to shave it off.
Listen, it's 7:01. I just got one other thing I want to show y'all. I'm gonna let y'all go on a Friday night. This one here, man. This is a young Elijah Bishop. He was 19 years old, and playing with Houston in college, going against Moses Malone. Anthony, how good was Moses Malone, man? He was his mentor.
Oh, look, with all due respect to Wilt and Dennis Rodman regarding rebounding, Moses Malone to me is the greatest rebounder in the game. I really feel that because he geared his game toward rebounding, but it never affected his offense. And see, the thing to me that set Moses apart, because see, Riley said it a lot. Rebounding is about desire. It's about, doing the dirty work. And Moses was great. Moses, that's the one thing that was the signature in his career. And yeah, he scored his own points. And also, when we were talking about, great runs by, in a sense, a one-man team, he took that Houston Rockets team to a final, with Allen Levitt and a very young Robert Reed. So he truly was Hall of Famer, all of that. And you could see where Olajuwon got that desire, because Olajuwon, again, arguably one of the greatest rebounding and scoring centers of all time. And what a better mentor to have than Moses Malone.
There you go. Go ahead, Don.
Well, definitely for Olajuwon, it was the best thing that ever happened to him was to train with Moses Malone. And then he topped it off with that little fadeaway he had inside.
Yeah.
And he also knew how to be a big man at the same time. He knew how to get under the board and battle with the best of them. And then he had that little fade that nobody could stop, which makes him one of the greatest center in my mind of all time.
Go ahead, Bishop. Moses Malone, man. I mean, schooling Olajuwon. He said, they was at a gym playing pickup, and he took him to the side, showed him all the ropes, basically. What do you think about Moses Malone?
Basically, Moses Malone, a man child, when he first came in. I mean, he just basically there was
from high school.
He was, I know, a man child. Like I said, he comes out of high school and actually makes an immediate impact in the NBA. And then he meets Olajuwon and he says, "Look, you're a little thin here. I mean, we ain't gonna get much meat on your bones, but we can." I don't know if he taught him a finesse game or put him in a position where he had to learn how to play around a Moses Malone, which in both instances, it was a good training session for Olajuwon. I mean, you see that picture right there. I mean, it almost looks like Malone's fouling the brother. So, he got his hand around his waist. So that tells me Olajuwon was good that fast. He got his head. Look at his left hand around his waist and his right hand is keeping his arm down, and he's about to run for any minute.
He called for the ball.
That shows how good he was. He battled inside, and then he had a little step away jumper, a little step away thing, step back, that he had that made him awesome.
But
Patrick Ewing is still recovering from the dream shake after all these years.
I mean, you think about it, Bishop. Think about it, Bishop. This is a college kid calling for the ball on Moses Malone.
I know.
Moses Malone on him, and he's still calling for the ball.
Yeah.
Still calling for the ball.
But you know what?
Give me the ball.
That shows his tenacity, his hunger, and his desire.
Right,
you know,
right.
He had technically no fear, so he did what he needed to do. He know he was out muscled. He knew that there was a height disadvantage for him, but yet still, he still felt like he could get something done. And when you got that mentality, automatically that makes you a winner.
Okay.
And one last thing, Jerry.
Right.
Elijah Wan's first sport was soccer. He was a goalie.
Yep.
So
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
it was about angles. It was about footwork and spacing himself. I think that's why if there's a kid that's that literally wants to learn how to play the center, they should look at old films of Elijah Wan and Moses too. But Elijah Wan technically really just he really that soccer background definitely helped him in the pros.
Okay, just it, man. Just it. This is gonna be real fast going around the table because I might not be on Tuesday, so I want to get this out the way. Bishop, who's your best Golden State Warrior of all time?
Wow. Depends on what category you're talking about.
No, the best Warrior of all time. Steph Curry, Rick Barry. They had a lot of different guys. Jamal Wilkes, but your best Warrior of all time.
I'm gonna take Steph Curry and then Jamal Wilkes. Rick
Barry one too. All right, what are you, Anthony? Best Warrior.
Steph Curry and Al Adams.
Huh?
Steph Curry and Al Adams.
I forgot.
Okay, Al Adams. Okay, who you got, Don?
About him.
I'm just going with Steph Curry as the best of all time.
All right, Donald, the greatest Celtic.
Wow.
Now you made it hard.
No, I'm not making it hard. Give me a greatest Celtic.
I'm going to go with Larry Bird then.
All right, who you got? All right, who you got, the Bishop?
I'm going to agree with Don. Larry Bird. I want to say Bill Russell, but Bird was a difference maker.
I'm not doing all the franchises. A few. Who you got, Anthony?
Bill Russell.
Bill Russell, okay. Greatest 76er, Don. Yeah, Iverson, Dr. J, George McGinn, Al Greer. Even they had.
I got into the Sixers with Dr. J, so I'm going to just go with him.
All right, who you got, Anthony?
Yeah, I'll go with Doc.
Bishop?
I'm going with Dr. Duncan Stein himself.
All right. The greatest Nick, Bishop?
Willis Reed.
Wow, Willis Reed. Okay. Anthony? What about Patrick Ewing? No?
I'll go with Patrick Ewing for you. I'll go with Patrick Ewing.
I'm old school. I love Willis. Willis was the captain. Willis was the captain. And
I'm going with Clyde because Game 7, Clyde did his thing. Atlanta Hawk, Anthony, the greatest Atlanta Hawk. Got to go with Dominique.
That's ugly.
Yeah.
I'll go with Dominique, but see, I like to do a little old school as well.
Yeah.
The guy who was really underrated, Sweet Lou Hudson.
Yeah, he was too, wasn't it?
Remember Lou Hudson?
Sweet Lou Hudson.
Well, who you got? Lou Hudson?
You gotta go with Dominique, but I gotta give an honorable mention to Sweet Lou.
All right, you Bishop Atlanta, the best Atlanta Hawk.
Reverse what he just said with a second honorable mention. I'm gonna say Sweet Lou first. I remember his game. Used to love. I was loving basketball then, and then Dominique honorable mention, and then I got to throw him in there. I mean, just for the fun of it, Pistol Pete.
All right, there you go, Donald, the best juicer. How do you get you on the Atlanta Hawk? Who you got, Don?
Dominic Wilkins.
Now, Dominique, okay. Who's your best Houston Rocket player?
Wow.
Elijah Wan.
Yeah.
Right, go ahead, Bishop. Who you got?
Hey, I'm with him. Elijah Wan.
Anthony?
The Dream.
Final one. The Lakers, the greatest Laker of all time.
That's a hard one.
Ain't hard. Just give me your greatest Laker. Kobe, Magic, Kareem, James Worthy, Jerry West. I mean, come on, Bishop, give me one.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Now, Walt's not here tonight, so he might not.
I'm all right. Let me do it this way. And again, I give you 2 honorable mentions. Okay, Kareem, number 1, and then of course Elgin Baylor, number 2. Then I got to put Jerry West in there.
Over Magic?
No, those are my honorable mentions. You said greatest of all time.
Greatest Laker.
Magic was good in his time, But I'm sorry, that's where I am. Kareem, and then Elgin Baylor, and then Jerry West.
Now let Wall hear that one, man. God, I let Wall hear that one, bro. Because the Magic is his man, and even Kobe. Go ahead, Anthony. Greatest Laker.
Urban Magic Johnson.
Magic.
6'9". How many 6'9" guards, man? I mean, come on. How many of them are we gonna? He changed the game.
No, he did. So did Bird. Bird changed it too. Both of them did. Right.
But Magic to me, look, to me, the difference thing is Game 6 in the '80 finals when he played all 5 positions with no Kareem.
No, I'm not knocking Magic.
To me, that sets him a little bit apart from everybody.
Okay, I'm gonna argue that in a minute, but go ahead, Don. Greatest Laker.
I'm going with Kobe, Magic, and then Kareem.
And Anthony, the only reason I'm going with Kobe. First of all, Kobe played 20 years, number one.
Sure.
He's the only one that did a three-peat. Okay. Then he won back-to-back on his own. So he got 5 championships like Magic got 5. But he had a three-peat.
And let me just add to that.
81 points.
No, I don't know.
Right.
In the decade of the 80s, the Lakers made the finals. Not only didn't make the finals twice.
They made it 9 times.
And of those 8 times that they made it, they won 5 championships.
Right.
I'll leave that at that.
And he never won three-peat though. And it never
it's not about style. It's about winning.
No, he went there 9
times. About style. I mean,
Magic went there 9 times. He's 5.
But look, is it just because he didn't win 3 in a row doesn't take anything away from the 5 that he did. I mean, there was a stretch during the 80s where they basically made the final. The only team in the 80s as a Western Conference that made the finals those 2 years the Lakers didn't do it, they were eliminated both times by Houston. So they were the team the Lakers were the team of the 80s and Magic was the guy. I'll just leave it at that.
And I'm not disrespecting Magic. I'm just saying, but Kobe, the three-peat with Shaq was good. Then on top of that, iced the cake when he did the back-to-back on his own with Paul Gasol. So for a Laker, for 20 years, 81 points he scored, 64 points one time in 3 quarters against Dallas. But he had a lot of baggage people didn't like. See, I remember something. People love Magic.
It's not so, to me. It's never been about the baggage. To me, it's always been about the game. Look, they could. There's just as much baggage with Magic. Getting AIDS and all this other stuff as well. So
they felt sorry for him. I said they felt sorry for him. I don't think
it was the thing they felt sorry for them, but they just put it this way. The only reason why Magic Johnson's not the all-time career assist leader is because his career was cut short. But he put one hell of a career together in the time that he did.
All right.
Yeah, we agree with that.
All right, Bishop, close out in prayer, bro.
All right. First of all, as always, thank you for those of you who are watching this beautiful podcast on the KMI/USA channel, as well as YouTube and wherever else you may see us. Always send in your comments, your concerns, what you think. We look forward to hearing from you. Maybe there's a subject that you might want to discuss. Let us know whatever it is. Let your friends, family, and even your enemies know KMI/USA is the place to be for Connecticut's #1 podcasting station, WJRG Sports Talk, a Big Don production. You don't want to miss out on the madness. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for all that you've done. Thank you for these wonderful men who've come in, and even for our brother Kendall who's on the highway. God, keep him safe as he journeys back to his destination and the place he calls home. Thank you for keeping Pastor Teague as well as Minister Henry, Father God, and Bob McCormick and the rest of the staff. God, we love you for all that you're doing. Keep us together as we prepare to leave this place whenever your presence. Go with us, stand by us, lead us, guide us, guard us, govern us, protect us, and correct us as is needed. Now unto him who's able to present us faultless before his throne, to the only wise God be glory, majesty, dominion, and power, both now, henceforth, and forevermore. And the men of God said, amen.
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 Amen. Great show. Tuesday night, we're going to do it again. Any topics you guys want to talk about, send it to my brother Henry. You can send it through the text or just let me know. So let's keep the show going. Great show. You guys doing a great job. I love all you brothers, man. All right.
Open your eyes. And by the way, I meant to tell you, I didn't give you the 10 most likely not to make it. North Carolina's in that mix, believe it.
Tuesday night, Donald gonna handle it Tuesday. You guys do your thing, right?
All right.
Here we go.